G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Wednesday, the 26th of August, 2020, and the time here is 0800 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well, folks, plenty to go into. I'll explain all in a minute, but first, let's do my sponsor. Okay, Totally Awesome. Make golden activated turmeric paste, amongst other things. They now have a new menu out, folks, which they've sent to me recently, and I am using. And the benefits have been, they've got this new silica stuff. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Honestly, it is fantastic. Look, these guys have even raised it up another notch. If you haven't got any turmeric paste, you need to get some, because it does bloody work. It's fantastic. Honestly, folks, I wouldn't recommend it if it didn't. And as I said, the silica stuff is, so far, is extraordinary. So give them a call, go through it with them. Here's where you can find them. Oh, they're back at the Currumbin community markets. Markets in the Meadows, Gold Coast Turf Club in Bundle every Sunday, and every Thursday, Currumbin community markets. And that contact details, info@totallyrawesome.com.au. Okay. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Okay, now, where have I been? Well, I can't make this up. Honestly, it is absolutely crazy what happened to us with my computer and the internet. So about 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, we swapped over to Telstra. All was going fine. We're having some glitches here and there. And then all of a sudden one day, bang, no internet, nothing. So, you know, we're ringing them and going through it and trying to find get our internet fixed. 7 days later, we eventually make our way down to the Telstra office, and we get told that my wife, who started the account, all her details were being sent to these particular emails. Now, the only problem with that is that they weren't the emails that my wife gave everybody. Like, they just didn't, we've never heard of them. So we're kind of scratching our head. And anyway, we had to then sit down, like I said, it was 7 days, 14 days later. Like, we hadn't had the internet for 2 weeks, anything, nothing. So my wife sat down with the guy and he said, look, I can't fix this. He said, I'm going to have to start a whole new package, which meant we had to wait another whole 7 days to get the new internet, the modem, the whole lot, which we already just got from the other one, right? So we had to wait 7 days to get that. So we waited 7 days, we got the modem, we got everything set up, we plugged it in, ta-da, no internet. So, bloody hell, this is getting annoying. My wife finally gets hold of them again, same thing. Someone was actually setting up a separate account via the system. So basically, our name, my wife was using the using her email account to set it up, obviously, as you do. But when it was going through to Telstra, it was being diverted to another account. Now, once you could say, okay, well, that's whatever, twice. So then you're going, okay, well, something's going on here. Then my wife's ringing them saying, can you please sort this out? Because I'm obviously not the only one who uses the internet in this family. We get a phone call from Telstra, which they then proceed to ask, can we speak to Mr. Wing Ji Bang or something like that, Wing Ji Bo? My wife's like, no, because he doesn't live here and I've never heard of this person. Oh, well, that's the person who's running this account. My wife's like, well, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. I'm the person who opened the account, blah, blah, blah. So look, anyway, cut a long story short, we were continuing to have internet problems even after that was fixed up. So my wife had to go back to Telstra, sort it all out again, blah, blah, blah. Then finally, a couple of days ago, we finally got the Telstra people here and we got told that our NBN line had been disconnected. So they had to send out another bloke who had to go and reinstitute our NBN line. So look, cut a long story short, it looks like I'm being nobbled. Also in the background, it's kind of funny because the day that we lost our internet was the day that that silver started to go up and all the precious metals started to skyrocket. And I actually, this is exactly what happened. I was speaking to David Morgan on Skype. I sent David Morgan an internal message. He messaged back. I messaged him back, and the internet went. I went like that, bang, and the internet went out. Conspiracy? Don't know, but that's exactly what happened, folks. Can't make this stuff up. So look. So I'm going to get some water. Hang on a sec. Okay, back again. Hopefully it's better. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. That's where all of this was going, has been. I can't 100% tell you. It seems really odd to me. At the same time, I've noticed that they're nobbling just about every man and his dog on YouTube. So look, Greg Hunter did an interview with Catherine Austin Fitz yesterday, or Sunday maybe. If you haven't seen that interview, I would strongly recommend that you watch it because it is an eye-opener. And the message in it is pretty severe. Look, I don't think she's somebody that wants to grandstand or uses great hyperbole or anything like that. She's very honest, and she's probably about the she's one of the few people on Greg Hunter's show that I really, really enjoy listening to because she's so open and honest. And the interview that he did with her yesterday was just mind-blowing because she's now completely saying, look, this is finished. It's over. It's done. She's literally changed in the last 6 months to now, do whatever you can to protect yourself, etc., etc. While all this has been going on, I've been working like crazy trying to get things finished and secured here at home. Building fire pits, you might think that's crazy, but listen, I just want to say something. Even if there's like a little inkling in your head that this is all going to get better, it's not. There's literally no way that this can get better. You know, I'd ask you just to stand back for a second and just look at how much money they are throwing around at the moment. It's all inflationary, by the way. Now, Kathleen Austin Fitz in the interview with Greg quite really says that the reason they're doing this so-called pandemic is to stop massive inflation. How do you stop inflation? Well, you kill everything. You just literally stop it dead. That's what we're dealing with here. These people are just psycho jobs, folks. Absolutely psychos. So look, you know, this is not going to end with anything more than you being controlled by the government. That's their aim here, by the way. You know, there's no, oh, look, this is going to work out. And, you know, we've got the government here in Australia saying that they expect 95% mandatory vaccine uptake. I was watching a show the other night, and they had all these people on there, and there's people now saying, now listen to this. There's people now openly saying that if people aren't going to take the vaccine, then they need to be ostracised. Already, we haven't even got a vaccine. So the conversation is already starting that, hey, we need to get these people out of society. I watched one show where they're saying people need to wear, if you've had a vaccine, you need to wear armbands, or the other way around. You haven't got a vaccine, then you need to wear an armband. Remember when they put the stars on the Jews? Same thing. I listened to another show where they were actually in their agreement. They were all agreeing with each other that people who don't take the vaccine need to be locked up, herded up, taken somewhere else, and locked up. Now, the reality here is if you've had the vaccine, then you shouldn't be scared of anybody who hasn't had the vaccine, technically. This is the way this is going to go. So they're going to say to people, okay, you get any government money, any government handout, you send your kids to a government school, whatever, then kids can't go to school. You can't have this. You can't have any government money. You can't have any government funding. You work for the government. You've got to have a vaccine. You do, look, it's just phenomenal, folks. It's not. They are going to do this so that it is mandatory. So we've put it. I'll ask you this. Think about this logically, folks. If tomorrow they said there's a HIV vaccine, would you take it? Go on then. Think about it. Would you, if they came out tomorrow and said, bang, hey, we've got a HIV vaccine, we've cured it. We know how to fix it now. Would you take a HIV vaccine? Considering that you're not in a high risk group, blah, blah, blah. Of course you wouldn't. You'd say, get lost. So these guys are developing a vaccine in 6 months. Russia's already doing theirs. They've already got theirs out. They're already injecting people in Russia. So in 6 months, maybe a year. Okay, let's say a year. No other vaccine has ever been prepared so quickly and worked or not had a side effect. It takes 3, 4, 5, 6 years, maybe 10, to make a proper vaccine that cures everybody or works, like influenza, etc. Now, if you're like me, I don't take the influenza shot. I haven't for years. Last year, I got massive influenza and I was in bed for like 10 days and I was sick. I was really sick. And I was just determined in the end that I wasn't going to get a flu shot. Could have got one, probably would have helped me, but what's that do for my antibodies in my body? So look, that's the way this is all going. If you let's talk about financials for a sec. Financials has gone, ask yourself this question. You got no companies open, no companies running. New York shut down, London shut down, everything's shut down. So basically, the middle class is being effectively eliminated. So how come the stock market is still going up? How can that be possible? How can Trump, right, still sit there and go, the stock market, he only said it a couple of days ago, the stock market's now hit a new record high, the NASDAQ. And you just sit there and you just think, are people that crazy? They can't understand what is going on here. But sadly, that's the truth. People do not understand what is going on here. They just don't. So financially, let's talk about that for a sec. Because I've always said to you, financial is going to be where they're going to nobble people at the knees. When I was talking to my wife, and I said, oh, there's no way I'm taking this vaccine. You'd have to be a fucking idiot to take this vaccine. You would have to have marbles in your head. And my wife said, okay. So they turn around and they go, you're going to lose all your government benefits. You're going to lose it. I said, I don't care. I don't care. I'm self-sufficient, or I will be. So here's what you're going to have to do. If you're going to make the stand and you're not going to take the vaccine, you have to be self-sufficient. Remember I said about the fire pit? Well, I can cook any type of meal on the fire pit now because I've done it. So it's a fire pit with a griddle or a grill. You swing it across, lamb kebabs, whatever you want to cook. And you can sit there. I've done it so you can sit there quite comfortably and relax and enjoy it. Yeah, a bit of a bummer in summer when you got to, it's boiling hot. But hey, if they turn off your power, this is how serious this is going to get. If they turn off your power because you haven't had the vaccine, because people won't be coming to your house. They'll put a sign outside your house saying anti-vaxxer or something like that. So you won't be able to get service by electricity, etc., like that. So prepping is all about self-sufficiency. So are you self-sufficient? Which is not easy. My wife said, I said, I really need another 3 months supply of food. And that she said, well, what's the point? You're going to get to a point where it's just not going to help you anymore. And that's true. So you got 3 months food supply. What happens after the 3 months food supply? How are you going to survive then? Now, if you are going to make a stand about this vaccine, you need to understand that, because you're going to be pushed into a corner. There ain't going to be anywhere to go. The only way you're going to be able to survive is if you find a community of people, anti-vaxxers, for example, who aren't going to take the COVID-19 vaccine. So, financials. I think the US debt went to 27 trillion the other day. If it's not, it's almost there. 27 trillion. So Trump's added 3 trillion in the time that he's been president. Less than 4 years. So in less than 4 years, they've added another 3 trillion. So he will double what Obama did if he keeps on going. I hear all this stuff, Trump's going to go on the gold standard, etc., etc. Well, look, I still think that's all. The American dollar can go on the gold standard, but it won't be the same US dollar. That's the point. It'll be something different. The US dollar number one, number two, maybe even number three. Who knows? But it won't be the same because it can't be the same. There's, just don't know how to say it anymore. The financials have collapsed. Do you understand? Right now, our economy, the Australian economy, is worse than the Great Depression. This is a fact. If the government turned around tomorrow and stopped throwing money around, in literally less than a week, you would find out how bad this is. This is a fact. You can read up on it. The Australian economy right now is worse than the Great Depression. The UK has never had figures so bad. The US is the same. How can they sit there and say this is going to get better? It will be years before it just say tomorrow things turned around. Bang, COVID's gone. Okay, let's get back on track. It's going to take years, folks. Literally years. So I'll give you an example. The government said, okay, we're going to pay job seeker or whatever, job keeper till September. Isn't that ironic? So they'll float everyone over to September, and then they're going to go on this another new deal, then which goes up until January. Apparently, you're supposed to have the vaccine in December. So if you haven't had the vaccine by December, what do you do going forward? You don't get the money. So you're sitting there going, oh no, wife, kids, cars, house, jet skis, whatever you got, business. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to go and take the vaccine so they can get the government money. The reason they need the government money is because we are now in a worse economic crisis than we've ever been in the whole world. This is worse than the Great Depression. So when you get to September, they're going to start making what's names go, oh, okay, well, look, you've got to jump through this little hoop, get you through to January. Okay, but once you go on that little hoop goes through a vaccine to January. Because they've already said they will have the vaccine by December. And they're going to mass inoculate everybody. Australia's going to be a testing ground, as it always is. Okay, let's see how the little sheepies all line up and get a shot in the arm. Let's see how it works in Australia. Great, everyone just... You can see them lining up for it. But here's the big thing. If it's not killing ordinary people, then why the hell would you take it? Anyway, let's do the prayers. Before I say the prayers, there was one thing I forgot to tell you guys. Do you remember I said that I had this, nagging thing in my head saying to contact this person? I can't explain it. I don't know this person, but I know that I have to contact them. That's all I know. So now, I still haven't contacted this person, by the way. But here's the funny thing. So my computer has been shut down on the day that I was telling you guys about speaking to David Morgan. On that day, I also started writing the email to send to that person, right? And the internet went down, bang, on both on the same day. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I never even gave it two thoughts, to be honest with you. It was only later that I realized that something was going on. So anyway, I kept shutting down the computer, like literally closing it all down. No, didn't want to save this or anything else and blah, blah, blah. And I've had about 5 updates on my computer from Microsoft, like big full-on things where I've got to give numbers, names, the whole lot. So as I said, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm not going to go doing this big chase that they know anyway. So what's the point? So anyway, after I shut everything down, kept closing everything down, putting in new passwords, etc., I go on my Gmail account, open up my Gmail account, and up comes the email, the box that I was writing. How is that possible? Something to think about before we do the prayers. Okay, verse of the day. Great peace have those who love your law, and nothing causes them to stumble. Wow, great verse. Okay, let's read that again. Great peace have those who love your law, and nothing causes them to stumble. And as always, folks, we'll finish with the Lord's Prayer, which is probably now becoming even more ironic on a daily basis. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. So I'll leave it there, folks. I'll try and make a video in the next couple of days, just do an update. But don't be under any illusions. We are now, we, you, me, everybody are now in that end game that we've always spoken about. There's no getting away from that. None at all. And you need to start making preparations to face that fact. So, all right. God bless. Prep out. Stay safe.